Hello everyone. Hello everyone. Good evening, my name is Bayo. I'm here to speak to you about gamification, raising awareness about indigenous African cultures. A bit of background, I represent Jenny Games Limited. It's a company based in Nigeria. And what we do is we develop interactive African, educational African cultural mobile apps for kids. And our goal is to promote and preserve our indigenous cultures, in the face of obvious decline, demonization and ignorance by people. As it's saying, we have two core members. It's myself, the founder and co-founder. My background is in surveying engineering, but then I picked up interest in programming, and then taught myself a bit of Java, and then I made people using Flash Action Script, don't move into Java. Sorry to Unity, given the inspiration I've gotten here. And then I have an illustrator, and then I have an extended team who, of voiceover artists, drummers, sound engineers who don't work permanently, but come on board when we have projects to do. So in terms of background, so what you see here is, the continent or the world map. And what you find is we have about 52 countries in Africa, 1.1 billion in population, over 1,000 ethnic groups, between 1,000 and 3,000 native languages. Yes, and about in Nigeria alone, where I'm from, we have about 500 languages. And then in terms of other data, you can see that we have a large African diaspora audience, or people in, for example, Latin America, it's 103 million. And then in Europe, 3.5 million, North America, about 39 million. This is according to the World Bank stats of 2012. So there's been an increment since then. Perception of African cultures, as I know, is for some people, when you think of African cultures, what you see is, a demon, or or you think of African cultures and you think of rituals, you think of cruelty to animals, because some of these rituals entail things like that. You think of something outdated, as something of some of our languages back home. And you also think of barbarism, for example. But what we yes. But you see, our goal, so what we then have as a problem is there's a lack of knowledge concerning these indigenous cultures. And our own solution is to leverage features, and technologies like games and PCs to make them more interesting for them. And what we think we should do is we just need to shape the narratives around these things. So, the guy that I showed earlier, which is this guy representing the dating one of our local cultures. Our own goal is to turn it into something like this. A charming, attractive guy for anyone. And then push the content on devices like this, mobile and even TVs to make it too more sexy to people. So yes, this is our primary brand. It's called Asha. Asha means culture in Yoruba. And what it is the brand of interactive African culture teaching apps and videos that run on mobile and web platforms. So we have a number of applications, under the brand. We have two major categories, one dealing with folk tales, another one dealing with languages. So, but what is synonymous to all of them is, they have, the same features. So we have, we combine text, voice, sounds, colorful graphics, branded characters, simple animation, and games, to push the same content, whether it's stories or languages, to make it interesting for people. Now, I want to use a case study to explain, more about the context. So, sometime in 2013, we pushed out an app called Yoruba 101. It's a language teaching app for kids and even adults who know next to nothing about the language itself. A bit of background: Yoruba is one of our major languages in Nigeria. One of the major cultures we have. So it's big, spoken by millions of people, as far as in Brazil and other Latin American countries. So we sought to make this more interesting for people to learn. So what we did is we pushed out this interactive app on iOS and Android for people. And so what we find here is, we pushed it out in 2012, and then this year we did an update to it, carried out an update to it. And the update was to make it more story-like for people. So in this game, it's tagged the Legend Version Edition. And what you have to do is, you want to become a legend, that's the goal. But for you to become a legend, you need to demonstrate a good understanding of the language. So the way you do that is, it's a three-phase process. I mean, first you learn, so there are simple lessons there. We have about over a dozen topics that you learn from. And then when you're done learning any of the topics, you then go to play very simple casual games. I mean, drag and drop games, because remember, I mean, they are for kids. And then when you're done playing any game with excellent results, you unlock, these deities, you unlock, any of our gods who are associated with these cultures or different legends, and then you can share with your friends, via social media. So those were the features that we built into this. Now, what happened at the end of the day was, people started, making the most of it. So what you will find is, people taking advantage of the share feature. So people unlock, they'll unlock one, deity, and they'll tweet on social media and say, and you share via social media saying, oh, I just unlocked so person, deity. Go and check out the app. So I mean, number of people did this, and it was getting interesting for us. I mean, the engagement was good. So we decided to take the step further, and we decided to create the hashtag called Selfies Weekend. So what Selfies Weekend is we pick, users who have shared content over the course of the week, and then we illustrate them and paint them alongside these deities. So the guys that they normally deem as being demonic and unattractive and barbaric, I mean, you find them taking selfies with them and smiling and sharing with their friends. And so when we did this, we put it out on Twitter, and they were also keen on sharing, so they would share with their friends even on Instagram. So I mean, it was making it more interesting for them. So yeah, that's one bit. So in terms of the future for us, I mean, we find that kind of process is working. So we want to be able to build more applications using the same concept. And we also want to go beyond Nigeria. So I mean, we've done 3 major cultures in Nigeria, but we want to take it beyond that. And because we also know our markets, we know that we have people in as far as Brazil and the large diaspora audience in North America and Europe who are interested in this. We know that if we give even better content on multiple platforms, it will be good for us. And then in terms of content, so I mean, like I mentioned, the cultures are vast. I mean, over 1,000 languages, so it'll be interesting to see what we can do with people across different parts of Africa in terms of their content. So lastly, join us. Thank you.